Hi everybody, I'm Michael and this is California. And so today we're going to do some questions and answers because we've been getting a ton of questions from all over the place, from all the last videos that we've been doing specifically around stimulus checks. And first of all, I am so grateful for the response that we got over the last couple of weeks as far as people asking questions, including their comments, engaging with all that stuff. That really means a lot to us because we know the content that we're making is interesting and useful and helpful. So today we're going to talk about some of those different questions that you all have had and that we just haven't had a chance to get to answer. And sometimes it's repeat questions over and over and over again. And so we're going to try to answer those questions now to try to get those available for everybody so you don't have to keep asking those questions to make way for new questions. But first of all, before we do that, I just want to say that if you do like our content, you find it useful, you find it helpful, please, please, please make sure you like and subscribe. That way we can get an idea of how many people are watching and make everything easier for us to make more videos that matter to you. Also, when you do that, you'll get updates about when our newest and most informative videos become available. All right, so let's get into some questions. Now, before we do that, I want to do one friendly reminder that tomorrow, Tuesday, May 5th, there is a deadline for SSI recipients who are non-filers, who have dependents, who have not yet declared to the IRS that they have dependents. And they can do that using the IRS Non-Filer tool to update them and make sure that they know that they have a dependent, the IRS know that those individuals have dependents that should be claimed for a stimulus check. But it's super important that if you know somebody who's in that situation or you yourself are in that situation, you need to update the IRS that you have a dependent so that they can pay you out the stimulus check for those dependents. All right, so the first question is, will SSI recipients with payees receive a stimulus check? So I was digging and I found an article here from the SSA, from the Social Security Administration, that says that in general, folks who are have a payee and are receiving Social Security or SSI beneficiary stimulus checks will be able to get that money sent to their payees. And that money will be sent in whatever manner that it normally is sent. So whether it is a direct express or a paper check or a direct deposit, however they normally receive that check, and if it normally goes to that payee, those stimulus checks for those SSI beneficiaries will go to that to them in that way as well. All right, so let's look at our next question. So the next question says, hello, I get SSDI and I receive my money, but I didn't receive for my children. I did the non-filer for my children, and when will I get the stimulus check? So let's talk about this. So in her case, she has SSDI, but I'll also include SSI because there's an important deadline coming up for that one as well. So for SSDI recipients who had SSDI before January 1st, they can still use they would have had to use the non-tax filer tool prior to April 22nd. So that was last month to update their information for the dependents. And if they left the bank account information blank, then they get a paper check for both themselves as well as their children's combined check amounts. Now, if it's after April 22nd, and I don't know if it is because it doesn't say here, but if it is after April 22nd, then unfortunately they're going to have to wait until they file their taxes for 2020 and 2021 to get their money back on the tax return. And in fact, they're going to have to file a tax if they normally don't. They will have to file a tax to be able to get that money back for those dependents. All right, so to follow up SSDI, let's talk about folks who are in the same situation but have SSI. So for people who are SSI recipients from prior to January 1st, 2020, they can still use the non-filer tool on the IRS website to update the IRS about their dependents for this year and claim the stimulus check, the $500 check for their dependents. Now the caveat to this is if they normally receive their benefits for SSI through the Direct Express card, they will not be able to receive the stimulus checks for themselves or their children through Direct Express. So when they go to the website and they log in and they update the information for themselves and for their dependents, they have two options. They can put in the information that for a bank account that is a non-Direct Express bank account, or they can leave it blank and then choose to get the paper check sent out to them for themselves or for their dependents. Now, one important thing with this is that the deadline for this update for the dependents is May 5th. That is tomorrow, Tuesday. So if they do not update that information by Tuesday, tomorrow, May 5th, then they're going to be in that same situation where they have to they won't be able to file for the stimulus check up front. They're going to have to file their taxes for 2020 and 2021 and then get the stimulus money back as a tax refund for each dependent that they have. So that's super important. If you yourself have not done it yet, and you're in that situation, or you know somebody, please let them know, because otherwise it's going to be a long period of time before they can get that extra money back. Also, I'll put some links below for the SSA.gov link that I have in there and the IRS FAQs for this specific situation as well. So another question that we have is for someone who has SSDI, they have SSI, they are non-tax filers, they have no dependents, and they are not being claimed as the dependent, and they use the Direct Express payment tool, and the payments tool through the IRS, the Get My Payment portal, is saying status not available. What do they do? So in this situation, normally they should be getting their stimulus check through Direct Express, right? So they don't have any dependents, they don't have anything going on, nothing has changed. They will get that stimulus check sent directly to their Direct Express. If that's how they receive their normal benefits, that's how they should receive the stimulus check. Now, as far as the Get My Payment functionality, there's a lot of different reasons, and we made another video about that as well. I'll put the link below. It's why they may not be getting the right status, but there's a lot of different reasons why the status is saying not available. One could be that the information that is in the system does not match her information, and that could be a variety of different things. One of the things that we've noticed most lately is for the addresses. Sometimes they are capitalized, sometimes they're not capitalized. Sometimes instead of putting street ST, they put street long form, or lane long form instead of putting LN. So what you can do is, I'll put the links below for this as well. One is for the FAQs talking about the different varieties of ways that the addresses and information can be put in there that may be giving her a payment status not found status when actually she should. The second one is a tool from the USPS, so from the post office, and it has a link that you can use to look up exactly how they have your address in the government file. So oftentimes you're going to take that one and match that with the information that you have on the portal, and if it's not the same, then it's not going to work. And it's not always the same information that's on your taxes, so they could be different. So you can use the USPS zip code lookup to find out how the government has that address where you're staying, as well as use the IRS FAQs to look at what are the different formats that you can put information in, capitalized, non-capitalized, etc. And maybe that could help look up all those answers. Now, if that doesn't work, if you're still getting that, there's still other reasons that are not your fault that you could be getting the payment status not found. One could be the IRS just hasn't processed your information yet. And that is something that we've seen a lot. A lot of people have gotten checks, but a lot of people have not. And the IRS unfortunately has really dropped the ball in many cases in getting money to those folks who need it most when they need it most. So that could be another possibility as well. It could be something that you've done everything that you've done, and you look through all these things, and everything has been done the way that most you can do, and you still got to wait for the IRS to figure it out. Unfortunately, that's kind of the situation that we're in. So try those things and see if that works, and see if you can able to get through the portal, and obviously leave a comment or something below and let us know how that works out. All right, last but not least, let's go over this question. So it says, the website language is confusing and deceptive. It says if you're on SSI and don't do anything, you can get the stimulus check. But it also says if you're a dependent, then you don't qualify for the stimulus check. Which is it? And the answer is it's kind of both. So for example, if someone is on SSI or SSDI or VA or railroad benefits, then they can actually get the stimulus check. They're going to be eligible in general for the stimulus check. Now, if they're being claimed as a dependent and they're over the age of 17, then they will not be eligible for the stimulus check. So regardless of what program they're on, if they're over the age of 17 and they are a dependent of somebody else in somebody else's tax household, then they are not going to be eligible for the stimulus check. So it sounds like in this case, assuming she's over the age of 17, that she may not be eligible for the stimulus check because she's being claimed as a dependent by somebody else. All right, everybody. So that's it for today. I hope that was helpful for you all. And we definitely going to have to do another one of these Q&As, looking at all the questions and comments that we're getting in. And I can only imagine moving forward, we're going to get even more. So I hope that you found these videos interesting and helpful and even useful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. Also, if you do have any questions or comments, make sure you put them down below and we'll be happy to make a new post or create a new video that addresses whatever those questions are. And then finally, here at California, we know health insurance. So we do lots of things. We do PPP, we do EIDL, we do stimulus checks, all that kind of stuff, stimulus checks, Part 2, all those kinds of things. But health insurance is what our main thing is. That is our core competency. So if you have questions about your private health insurance or Covered California or Medicaid or Medi-Cal or Medicare, those are all things that we can do, and we know it here in California. So especially if you live in California, our services are always free. So anything we do, there is no cost, and our services are available year-round. So if you have questions about your health insurance, say you're moving into Medicare, or you're trying to get health insurance for your small business, or you're losing health insurance from your work, those are all situations that we can help you out all the time. So please feel free to reach out to us at the information below or shoot us a comment, and we'll be happy to address those things as well. So other than that, I'm Michael, and this is California, wishing you a happy, healthy